Christy, getting ready for your big date?
Yeah.
Gee, kid, you don't sound too excited about it. Aren't you going out with Brian?
Yeah,
I thought you really liked him.
I do.
Well, you don't sound too happy about going out with him.
I can't explain it, Sharon. I mean, I really like Brian. And for the longest time I had a crush on him, and I wanted to go out with him. But now that we've been going out for a while, I have mixed feelings. Like, part of me wants to keep seeing him, and then part of me finds the whole dating scene kind of scary.
Hey, listen, I think I understand. I remember having those feelings when I first started dating someone steady.
You did? You seem to have it all under control when it comes to guys and dating.
It wasn't always that way, I can assure you.
That's encouraging. Well, guess I better hurry. But hey, can we talk more about it tomorrow?
Sure, just remember one thing for now. Dating is the beginning of a process by which you begin to learn about yourself in relationship to another person. It's part friendship, but it's a step beyond. I mean, you've learned a lot about yourself and how to get along with others, even what kind of people you're most compatible with, just through the process of your friendships with other girls. But dating adds that dimension of romance to the whole thing, which is what makes the experience so exciting, but scary. But most important, remember, dating should be fun. Now get ready or you'll be late.
Thanks.
Hey, what's a big sister for?
Well, guess I better get in.
What's the hurry?
It's late, Brian.
Well, I know, but I really like being with you.
Me too.
What's wrong? Don't you like the feeling of being close?
Yeah, I like it a lot. But it's also a little scary.
Scary? Hey, I'm not Frankenstein, Christy.
I mean scary in an exciting way. It's a new feeling that's new for me. That's all. Well, listen, I've got to get in before my dad starts turning the outside lights on. See you tomorrow.
Sweet dreams. I'll be thinking about you.
Me too.
Hey, how'd it go?
I had a good time, but also all those scary feelings.
Let's have a snack and talk.
Okay. You know, I think I must just not have enough self-confidence, Sharon. I mean, I'm never sure I look good enough, and I'm always afraid I'll say something stupid. So between constantly checking my hair and watching every word I say, half the fun goes away.
I remember those feelings too. Part of dating is the development of self-confidence, but that doesn't happen overnight.
I don't know, Sharon. If I don't have it now, will I ever? And am I ready to date just one guy?
Don't be so hard on yourself, Christy. Self-confidence is something that grows out of self-knowledge, maturity, and experience, all of which dating helps develop. What you do need to have to be ready for dating is basic self-esteem. You have that.
What is self-esteem? And what makes you think I have it?
Self-esteem is a basic respect and liking for yourself. You've heard the old saying that you can't really love someone else until you love yourself. It's really true.
But loving yourself sounds conceited.
It's not conceit. It means having your own values and standing up for them. Being able to spend time by yourself and for yourself. But most important, not letting another person talk you into anything you don't want or devalue you in any way.
But if I really have any self-esteem, then why do I always feel so uncertain about myself when I'm with Brian?
Because you're involved in a whole new experience. And in time, the experience of dating will help build your self-confidence if you start out with a good self-esteem.
Do you know what? You look so good today.
So do you.
How were your classes?
Okay, how about yours?
We had a horrible algebra test.
Yuck.
Hey, listen. I've got a great idea for Saturday night. Can we go out?
Sure, I'd love to. What's your great idea?
Well, Jay's parents are going to be out of town, and he and Patty and you and I could have the whole house for ourselves for the whole night. What do you think?
I don't think my parents would go for that sort of thing.
Christy, don't tell your parents. Tell them you're going to stay overnight at a friend's house. We could really have time to talk and be close.
Brian, I really like you, but I don't want to be with you in ways I have to be dishonest about.
You make it sound like it's something awful to tell a little fib. Don't you want us to have time to be together?
Yes, I do, but I want it to go a little slower. It's just too much too soon.
Do you think how I feel is wrong? Don't you feel the same way about me?
No, it's not wrong. And I do feel that same attraction. It's an exciting feeling that's new for me. I want to take it slow. I'd like to build on our friendship and get closer to you. But I want a really good relationship before it moves to real physical intimacy. Is that a wrong way to feel?
No, I understand. To tell the truth, I guess I admire your honesty and not playing games about the whole thing. But I wish you'd think about it. We've been dating for a while now, Christy, and I thought you wanted the same thing that I want. A real togetherness. Maybe I was wrong in thinking that. Christy, we're not kids anymore.
Brian, sometimes I'm not sure what I want. Sometimes I don't even know if I'm a woman or a little girl.
Well, think about it. Think about what you want. I don't want to just hold hands for another year.
I know it's a hard decision, Christy, but I really think you're right in wanting to wait.
The idea of getting really intimate with Brian is exciting, but I don't know if I'm ready just yet.
Part of dating is romance, and sensuality will always be part of romance. Christy, there are so many different levels of sexual expression and physical intimacy. It usually grows as a relationship grows. And there will come a time, sometime in the future, when you'll be in a relationship and want full sexual expression. When that time comes is a very individual decision. But the bottom line is, if you don't feel ready, you're not.
How will I know?
You'll know, Christy. I think you have more self-esteem and insight into yourself than you realize. Just try to remember that sexuality isn't just a physical thing. Your emotions become involved in incredibly deep and complex ways. That's why too much, too soon can be very dangerous. Dangerous in the sense of your heart and your feelings.
I have a friend who thought she and her boyfriend were really in love. She was having sex with him, and then she found out he was seeing another girl. I'd just die if that happened to me.
Yeah, I know. It happened to me.
It did? When?
I wasn't a whole lot older than you. Remember when I walked around in a blue funk for so long?
Yeah. Can you tell me about it?
Sure, I'm over it now, but it took quite a while. Remember when I was dating Jeff?
Yeah, I know you liked him a lot.
I thought I loved him. Maybe what we had could have turned into love, even though we were just little pups.
What happened, Sharon?
We just didn't give it enough time. He was a lot like Brian, really wanting the intimacy. And so did I. I mean, the first time you really get into a relationship with a strong sexual attraction, it's hard to slow it down. And that feeling feels like love. It stirs up your body and your emotions. But real love, I mean the kind that's going to last for a while, is so much more.
I have to admit, I don't know the foggiest about real love.
Well, finding that out is a lifetime adventure. I sure don't know all the answers yet, but I do know that the sexual part alone doesn't sustain a long-term relationship. And if a relationship isn't based on something more, it can mean a lot of pain.
You've been with Bill quite a while now, and you both seem to care a lot about each other. How do you keep that feeling going?
I think the most important thing is to develop a friendship. Billy and I are really good friends. For example, what makes for a good friendship with another girl?
Somebody you can trust, that's for sure.
Trust is vital.
Somebody you can talk to and feel like they have some understanding.
That's called empathy.
Somebody you enjoy being with and feel comfortable with. And somebody that accepts you just the way you are, zits and all.
Right. But I'd hasten to add that no one should ever feel that part of being a good friend or a lover means accepting unfair or abusive behavior.
Do you and Bill have all that?
Yeah, we do. We also have the ability to communicate, to work out differences, to argue constructively. And that's probably the hardest one to achieve.
But should people in love or just dating steadily have disputes and arguments?
Christy, everybody in close relationships have differences. Show me a couple, whether dating, engaged, married, whatever, that doesn't have differences, and I'll show you someone the Smithsonian is looking for.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But it seems like we all grew up thinking that if we found the right person, everything would fall into place perfectly.
That's what it said in Cinderella. It also said that Prince Charming would solve all our problems. Do you believe that?
No.
Dating is really a time to learn about yourself and a way to develop the kind of friendship that can lead to love. These things we've been talking about, trust, empathy, acceptance, communication, and self-respect, don't develop overnight.
But isn't that getting into the idea that you have to have all that and be in love and maybe even married to your life's partner before you even have sex? Isn't that pretty unrealistic?
Like I was saying, sexual expression can be on many different levels. When sexuality should become part of a relationship and how much is a very individual decision only you can make.
It really is exciting, but scary.
I think the scary part is the mystery. Also the responsibility.
The responsibility?
Oh, I am going on, aren't I? We'll talk about that later. You know, Christy, no one can make another person's decisions. But I love you so much. I just want to share what little I've learned, if it'll help in any way.
Thanks, Sharon. I'm glad I have somebody to talk to.
Do you mean to tell me you're thinking about not going on this exciting all-night tryst with Brian? Woman, you are crazy.
Come on, Gina. Why should I do something I don't feel sure of?
Christy, there are plenty of other girls who would. Brian is a hunk.
But that's not what I'm trying to say.
Look, I'm your friend, or I wouldn't be so blunt. Now, do you want to continue to date Brian?
Sure.
Do you want to go to the prom with him in May?
Yes.
Have you thought of all the great beach parties there'll be this summer?
Yeah.
Well, do you want to see him there with another girl?
No.
Well then, get with the program, kid. There are plenty of other fish in the sea, and you'd better figure that out. Look, I went through what you're going through last summer. I wasn't ready for sex and all that stuff. But if you don't, you've got to accept the consequences. That's how I lost Jeff to that beast, Linda.
But Gina, if you feel sex is just basically a tool to hold on to a guy with, aren't you selling yourself awfully short?
Christy, please don't get into any of that heavy stuff with me. It's no big deal to me. All I know is I've got a date for the prom. Just think about it. Hey, listen, I've got to rehabilitate my face and hair before Jerry gets here. Call me tomorrow.
Sure. Bye. Hey, Angie. Are you busy?
No, what are you up to?
Still just trying to figure out what to do about Saturday night. Did you think about it any more after we talked?
Yes, and I really think you should probably just go and make the best of it.
What do you mean?
Well, okay, I know how you feel, and I don't think you should do anything you don't feel ready for. But can't you just do what I do? Just do a lot of fancy footwork to stay one step ahead of him.
You mean away from him?
Right, that's it, exactly. But I always think if you can just make the guy think he's getting closer to scoring, he'll keep coming.
Angie, you do that all the time?
Oh yeah, it wears me out sometimes, being just the right amount flirtatious and still being able to gracefully get off the spot.
Well, how can you have any fun like that?
It is exhausting sometimes. If you really get in a spot, just lay a lot of flattery on him. Or say you just got nauseated all of a sudden.
It all sounds like a game.
It is a game, Chris. That's what dating's all about. But for goodness sake, take all your makeup and your electric rollers. When you play this game, you've got to always look your best. Let me know if you want to borrow something frilly. Listen, I gotta run. Let me know what you decide.
I can't believe some of the stuff she goes through. The flirting and fancy footwork, as she calls it.
That's called game playing, and Angie's called a tease.
But Gina made me feel sort of sad. You know, she actually regards sex as a way to make sure she has a date next Saturday night. And I didn't even get the feeling she enjoys it. You know, none of her relationships seem to really last.
Gina sounds like a classic example of a girl who doesn't have that basic self-esteem we've talked about. Somebody who needs that next date so much she's willing to use herself as a commodity to get it.
Remember what you told me, and it made so much sense, that most important of all, dating should be fun? Well, I don't think Angie or Gina is really having any fun.
I think you're right. I really feel sorry for Gina. Does she have anyone to talk to?
Just me, really. She'd never talk to her mother.
Well, remember when I mentioned the responsibilities that go with the decision to have sex?
Yeah,
Well, maybe you could talk to her, like I want to talk to you.
I feel things getting serious.
They are. Your body is your own, and it's each person's decision what to do with their own body. We've talked about getting the physical in sync with the emotional development of a relationship, and that's the ideal situation. But whenever a person decides to have sex, there are responsibilities they've got to keep in mind.
What kind of responsibilities?
Well, number one, pregnancy. The fact that when you make love, there is the potential of creating another life. Now that is responsibility. And if you're not ready for that responsibility, then you must get advice on birth control. No person, male or female, should ever have sex and expect the other person to be responsible for birth control protection. Sex is a shared joy. Creating life is a shared enterprise. And protecting against pregnancy when you're not ready for it is a shared responsibility.
Next, I guess you talk about VD and all that. We see movies on it in health. Jeez, it would be embarrassing to get one of those hideous diseases.
Sexually transmitted diseases can be more than annoying or embarrassing. AIDS can kill you. Chlamydia can sterilize you. And herpes can be a lifelong affliction. I don't mean to parade all the horribles, but it's a reality we've all got to recognize.
Oh, come on, Sharon. I don't think Gina's promiscuous, and she doesn't date sleazes.
Christy, I know, but nice people can get these things. There are ways to make sex safer.
What are they?
Probably condoms are the best overall protection, if it's used consistently and correctly. Spermicidal jellies and creams can be used as an added safety factor.
Gee, sex sounds less sexy all the time.
AIDS isn't sexy either.
What do you mean by added protection?
Both condoms and spermicides are barrier contraceptives, so by using the two together, it increases the chances of the barrier working. Plus, many spermicides contain ingredients which can zap some of the bacteria and/or viruses which can carry infections into your body. But really, when the time comes, I think you should invest the time and energy to talk with either a doctor or a counselor, or visit a family planning clinic.
All this responsibility. Whatever happened to the fun?
Don't worry, dating and sex will always be fun.
I can't believe you're not going with me. I had this all set up.
I have to do what feels right for me, Brian. Can't you understand that?
I just can't understand why this doesn't feel right to you. Don't you care about me?
Yes, I care. It's not that I don't need you, and it's not that I don't want to please you. It's just,
What?
I just want to spend some time developing our friendship. Really learning to be together and to communicate.
Are you playing some kind of hard-to-get game with me?
No, that's the whole point. I don't want to play games. I don't want to be a tease. And I don't want to feel like I have to look like I just stepped out of Glamour magazine every second we're together. And I don't want to feel that I have to be fully sexual with you before I'm ready just to hold on to you.
Okay. What can I say? It looks like you've made up your mind, and that's how it's gonna have to be. I guess we'll just have to see where it goes from here.
Brian, that's not all. I have something else I need to say.
What?
I want to keep dating. You're sweet and nice. I care about you, and you do turn me on. But I think maybe we should both stay open to the idea of seeing other people for a while.
Is there someone else you want to see?
No, it's not that. It's just that I've come to the conclusion that all the things I need as a basis for sexual intimacy, friendship, trust, respect, both for myself and my partner, and communication aren't developed quickly, but over the course of time. Once you've got that trust and acceptance, they're hard to lose. But once they're shattered, they're hard to ever regain.
Don't you want our relationship to lead to all that?
Yes, I do. Don't you see? That's why I want to put it on the slow track. Hey, listen. It's because I want it to have time to develop and flower into a relationship where the sexual part will be a deeper expression of all that's already there for us.
I really don't know what to say. You say that you care, but I really don't understand all of this.
Brian, I do care. Let's give it some time. And most important, before it gets really heavy, let's learn about each other and really get to be friends. Let's make dating fun.
Well, I admire you. I hope it all works out with you and Brian. I don't think I'd have the guts to do it, Christy, even after what happened to me.
Hey, yes you could. Just because Jerry broke up with you doesn't mean it's the end of you.
Yeah, but to be honest, I'm so down that it looks like up. Ever feel that way?
Sure, we all have. It's gonna take time, but use it as an example to get stronger from, Gina.
How? I feel so depressed.
First of all, give yourself some time to feel depressed, to think things out, to cry if you feel like it. But don't just go out and try to find another guy to be a Band-Aid.
I'm used to having a steady guy, Christy. I hate to be alone.
You've got to work on learning to like yourself and learning to be with yourself.
Positive self-image stuff, huh? I'm not sure I know how. I'm not sure I really like me.
Well, there's some little things you can do to build up your self-esteem.
What?
Okay. Here, write out a list of your good qualities. Everything that's likable about you.
Well, I'm kind to my mom, and I cook a mean cheeseburger. That's about it.
Now you're being funny. You do have a good sense of humor. You can put that down.
Okay, so after I get my list together, where do I post it?
In your mind. I want you to start spending some time each and every day, like you were your own little girl, thinking about all your good qualities. You know, sort of nurturing yourself, like your little girl's starting to develop her self-concept.
Seriously now, Christy, what will that accomplish?
Okay, I'm not an expert, but my sister and I have talked about it a lot, and my mother and I even talked the other day.
Your mother? I can never talk to my mom about this stuff.
Well, I didn't think I could either. But once we got to talking, she understood a lot more than I thought she would.
What'd she say?
Well, she's read a lot about women and how they often have a tendency to be too negative in their self-talk. You know, the way they subconsciously never think they're good enough. She says it's important that we take away the negative thoughts as soon as we realize we're having them and replace them with positive ones.
Give me an example.
Okay. If you look in the mirror and think, my legs are too fat, stop the negative thought as soon as you know you're having it and replace it with a good thought about yourself.
Come on, Chrissy. That's just too simple-minded.
I know it sounds that way, but I've been doing it and it works. But it takes a while and you've got to keep up the good self-talk.
So, in other words, it's like forming a habit of thinking good or positive thoughts about yourself instead of bad ones.
Right, and being patient with yourself. Make a resolution that while you're working on your new self-image, you won't do self-destructive things.
But I'm afraid I'll be so lonely.
You really need to make yourself spend some time alone. Everybody's going to be alone sometime in their life. You need to work on enjoying some alone time.
Well, I'll try it.
Great, let's make some popcorn and start the list.
Okay, I like to color my hair. I've got strong nails. I have good legs.
You're a great friend.
Thanks, so are you.
You're a super swimmer and a good cook.
I'm a great kisser. Every guy dated has said that.
You're a great talker.
I'm thoughtful. I always remember birthdays and special occasions. I've got long eyelashes.
You're fun to be around. You've got a good disposition. And you're nice to everybody.
I'm generous.